I'm going to start with something traditional. Captain Kidd was a Scottish pirate. Initially, he was regarded as a privateer, which was a sort of commercial, legal pirate. But he managed to get the wrong side of the Admiralty, which is not a good thing to do. And he was actually, one of the things he was charged with in the end was murder. But in actual fact, at the time, he was suppressing a mutiny. Anyway, it's a long story. But he was hanged in 1701, so it gives you an idea of the age of the song, because it's a sort of a gallows ballad that was probably sold around the time of the hanging. Anyway, join in. Oh, my name was Captain Kidd, as I sailed, my name was Captain Kidd, as I sailed. Oh, my name was Captain Kidd, and God's laws I did forbid, and most wickedly I did, as I sailed, as I sailed. Oh, my parents taught me well, as I sailed, as I sailed. My parents taught me well, as I sailed. Oh, my parents taught me well to shun the gates of hell, but against them I rebelled, as I sailed, as I sailed. With all men I have my will, as I sailed, as I sailed. With all men I have my will, as I sailed. With all men I have my will, and my gunner I did kill, and his precious blood did spill, as I sailed, as I sailed. And I steered from sound to sound, as I sailed, as I sailed. I steered from sound to sound, as I sailed. Oh, I steered from sound to sound, and it's many men I've drowned, and it's many ships I've burned, as I sailed, as I sailed. But the king's ships captured me, as I sailed, as I sailed. The king's ships captured me, as I sailed. Oh, the king's ships captured me, never more to sail the sea, never more for piracy, as I sailed, as I sailed. To the execution block I must go, I must go. To the execution block I must go. To the execution block, while the crowds around me flock, and I'll see the hangman's block, as I go, as I go. So warn and take by me, as I die, as I die. So warn and take by me, as I die. So warn and take by me, shun all bad company, lest ye come to hell with me, as I die, as I die. Oh, my name was Captain Kidd, as I sailed, as I sailed. My name was Captain Kidd, as I sailed. Oh, my name was Captain Kidd, God's laws I did forbid, and the devil's work I did, as I sailed, as I sailed. Thank you. There's probably been enough deaths to start with now, so what I'm going to do is sing one of my songs where nobody actually dies. And the idea for this one occurred to me when I last renewed my passport And basically what it says on British passports is that if you look enough like your 10-year-old picture, then they can renew it automatically without having to get your photograph endorsed by anybody. And I thought, well, it set me thinking, and the ideas are spelled out in the song. I return your passport photo to be signed. If it's you, the years have not been kind. I hope you have adventures to relate. Otherwise the story isn't great. Mostly this job is just routine. Don't care what you've done or where you've been. If I can match the photo that you send to your passport that's coming to an end. I admit I know how you feel. 10 hearties can seem a bit unreal. In my case, my world just fell apart. No quick answer for a broken heart. You might not like what I have to say. From where I sit here at gov.uk, your picture tells me that your life is tough, and the healing process hasn't been enough. 1,000 pictures cross my desk nearly every day. I check them, I approve them, then they go away. I found a smaller house, I changed my name. I'm through the worst, but it's not the same. Checking photos now is what I do. So kindly get this signed to prove it's you. Checking photos now is what I do. So kindly get this signed to prove it's you. Just going to down tune the D string. Just hold on. Right, this is so I can give you a traditional song. Now, this is a song from the Scottish borders, and the geography all works out pretty well. Loch Maben is about a day's ride from Carlisle, but it's about how an impecunious disabled musician manages to outwit the King of England. And as you know, in folk songs, the King of England is always called Henry. No exceptions allowed. So here we go. Oh, have you heard of the blind harper? He lived in Loch Maben town. He would go to fair England to steal King Henry's wanton brown. But first he went unto his wife with all speed and said to her, "Fear this work will ne'er go well without the help of a good grey mare." She said, "Take the good grey mare, she'll ride o'er hills both low and high. You sit on the grey mare's back, leave the foal at home with me." So he set off for fair England, e'en as fast as ride could he. When he's come to Carlisle gate, who should be there but King Henry? Come in, you blind harper, had some music, let us hear." But up and said the little harper, "I'd rather have a stable for my mare." his left shoulder, spoken to his stable groom, take this poor blind harper's mare, tie her beside my wanton broom. Well, then he harped and then he sang, soon he charmed them fast asleep. Straightway he took off his shoes, down the stairway he did creep. He came into the stable door, just as quiet as he could be. When he opened up the door, there were 30 steeds and 3. He took a halter from his hose, from his purpose did not fail, slipped it over the wanton's nose, tied it to the grey mare's tail. He loosed them from the castle gate, she didn't fail to find her way. She was in Long Maben town 3 long hours before the day. The very next morn when they awoke, having finished all their cheer, behold, the wanton brown was gone, so was the harper's good grey mare. Alas, alas, said the blind harper, alas, that ever came I here. In Scotland I've lost a good cold foal, in England they stole my good grey mare. Oh, hold your tongue, said King Henry, and some music let us hear. Well paid your cold foal shall be, and you shall have a far better mare. So then he harped and then he sang, finest music let them hear. Was paid for a foal he ne'er had lost, 3 times over for the good grey mare. Oh, have you heard of the blind harper? He lived in Loch Maben town. He would go to fair England to steal King Henry's wanton brown. Right, back up to standard tuning. But I need a capo. Just hold on. This is a song I co-wrote with Emma Kirkbride, Emma Gale as she was then, and this was during a week-long songwriting workshop near Inverness, and Emma's a great, very skillful songwriter, and it's nice to be able to just speak to somebody when you've got a lyric idea but you want a tune for it. And we had quite a brief consultation on this, but we just kicked the words around, and Emma came up with a tune and I sort of polished it all off. And it's about, I call this rom-com because it's about one of those things where it's just a little event that might have happened, not to anybody I know, but there is an apocryphal tale that supermarkets on a Thursday night used to open, and it was when single people tended to go along on a Thursday night, so you could bump into other single people. I've never heard any confirmation of that, but it's a good story. So that's what this is about. Thanks for picking up my stuff, all my hands were busy. Carrier picked, it's time to burst, I was in a tizzy. They eat me out of house and home, they empty every shelf. It's easy for a couple, but I do this by myself. I'm organized by nature, I work down every aisle. You'd think by now I'd have it sus, but it's always such a trial. Soon as I get home, they say there's something that I've missed. I empty all the bags out, start another list. My life's built out across the floor. I'm not felt such a fool before. No change on the horizon, but I get through every day. You spotted that I needed help, what more can I say? Lucky that your basket was not as full as mine. I come here every Thursday, always at this time. Lucky that your basket was not as full as mine. I come here every Thursday, always at this time. Right, there's another story involved here, but slightly dark one in one sense, because if you look at the sort of people that live on canal boats, there are those people that live on for recreational purposes and really don't live on the boat. And there are those people for whom the boat is their only home, and it's a bit like American trailer parks. There's possibly a backstory to how people end up living on a boat, and I used to live near Willington in Derbyshire, where there are a lot of canal boats, and that's when I started to have this idea. So here we go. My home is on the water, so I welcome you aboard. It isn't much to look at, but it's what I can afford. The shell gives me protection from above and from below. Isn't bricks and mortar, but it's the only home I know. The postman never finds me, I have to look for him. It's glorious in summer, but the winters can be grim. If I stoke this little stove up, I can keep her pretty warm. But she rolls just like the ocean anytime there is a storm. It's blacker and it's stiller when the clouds block out the stars that you ever could imagine from your houses and your cars. Sometimes that is peaceful, sometimes I'm afraid. The morning light will never break above that river gate. My life fits in a space that's only 7 feet across. There are things about my history I'd rather not discuss, like businesses and bankruptcy, ambition and despair, custody and access. Well, I'd rather not go there. Some people call me gypsy, they call me water rat. They say I should be in a bungalow, a semi or a flat. Some days I will envy you, your feet upon the ground, but nearly every day it is the other way around. You ask me if it's permanent. I don't know what you mean. Is anything forever, or just floating down the stream? The best that I can tell you is it's permanent for now. I will keep myself afloat as long as fortune will allow. My home is on the water, so I welcome you aboard. Right, I'm going to finish off with a cover by one of the masters of songwriting, Tom Waits. Let me just check tuning. You'll be there. There we go. This is a song about a deserter. I will leave behind all of my clothes. All my life is with you. I'm going to start again. I will leave behind all of my clothes. All my life was with you. All I need's my railroad boots and my leather jacket. As I say goodbye to Ruby's arms, although my heart is breaking, I will steal away out through your blinds. Soon you will be waking, the morning light across your face, and everything's turning blue now. Hold on to your pillowcase, there's nothing I can do. I say goodbye to Ruby's arms, you'll find another soldier, and I swear to God by Christmas time there'll be someone else to hold you. The only thing I'm taking is the scarf off of your clothesline. Hurry past your chest of drawers and your broken windchime. As I say goodbye, I say goodbye, say goodbye to Ruby's arms. I will feel my way down the darkened hall, out into the morning. The hobos in the freight yard have left their fires burning, and Jesus Christ is God and reign. Won't someone put me on a train? I'll never kiss your lips again or break your heart. As I say goodbye, I say goodbye, say goodbye to Luzon. That's my set for today, so thank you very much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to play, and I imagine I'll be doing another broadcast fairly shortly. So have a great weekend, and I shall see you again soon.